My thoughts on every Genshin character in 15 seconds or less, as of version 3.4. I like quiet girls, but this is kinda pushing it. However, her facial expressions are legendary. Please bro, come home! The floating fairy is getting on my nerves! You either use her because everyone else is trash talking her and you want to be different, or you just like her fun and outgoing personality. She's the perfect mix of kind and motherly to just straight up sadistic. Also, am I the only one who finds her really fun to play? From his appearance, he looks like he's a con artist. However, in actuality, he's a con artist. But he's very dapper towards the elderly and little Klee. It's kind of wholesome. Plain Jane, more like plain Jean. But she's alright. Definitely a character I can see being a real person. Maybe a European ambassador or something like that. She's just the cute, wholesome idol who's been through more stuff than someone who's been in countless wars. But still, kawaii idol. A very unlucky boy whose defining character trait is that he's unlucky. However, I do gotta give him the props for dealing with sometimes supernatural bad luck situations. I wish you the best, Benny boy. Genshin's personal Chunbyo-esque detached from the world character. I do like that she at least transitions to normal Amy when she's embarrassed, and her design is quite amazing as well. Also, Oz is a Chad. I want to be best friends with him. He seems like the best drinking pal you can ever have, and I also love the fact that he's a lot more layered than what you might think just by looking at his design. Her outfit, despite popular opinion, I do kinda hate it. However, her sass, and you know, the fact that she's broke even though she's one of the few characters with a job, yeah, that gets a lot of relatable points in my book. I find it hilarious that the mad scientist type character is the quiet and timid one. Also, I love when her eyes light up whenever she's just talking about alchemy. It's kind of precious. His solitary, usually alone in the mountains lifestyle is something that I dream of one day having. Also, another really layered character, and despite the fact that he's not technically a boy or even a human, he's still a contender for best boy to me. Yeah. A wholesome child who I am sure can do no wrong. I don't know why Jean is constantly chasing her around. Like, what's her problem? Also, she's one of the funnest characters to play. How in the absolute heck is someone this hardworking and wholesome not a Knight of Favonius yet? Meanwhile, NPC number 172 over here is. Also, for some reason, I still use her instead of Zhongli, and I don't know why. I just like Noelle. The phrase, "please step on me," is thrown around quite a bit, but in her case, yeah, I understand it. Also, I gotta respect her insane alcohol tolerance. You go, girl. She confuses the heck out of me because I can't tell if she's a tsundere or not. However, the amount of layers that this girl has, especially when compared to just, you know, normal human characters, she's at least top 3. Also, she's definitely a candidate for best girl. Her being constantly angry at everything makes me constantly angry at her. Although I find it hilarious that she can turn any form of alcohol into just a 10 out of 10 drink. It's kind of amazing. Gotham needs a hero. He's an extremely attractive and dapper individual, and the fact that he doesn't tolerate no BS, no matter who it's coming from, hey, respect my man. This man wolf dude has lived one of the most tragic lives ever. However, he's never sad or depressed. It's kind of amazing how humans can adapt to their environments, no matter how rough their situations are. He definitely does need some help though. Kind of want to give Wolf Boy a hug. One of the most alpha female characters I've literally ever seen in a video game. Also, probably an amazing drinking partner. I think I'd love to just listen to her talk about her life at sea, just because of how passionate she seems to be about it. Started from the bottom, now we're here. She's the best world leader-esque character in the game by a long shot, and honestly, she just puts some of the gods to shame in terms of how she leads a country. Also, yes, she's very hot. When I looked at her for the first time, I thought she'd be a complete tsundere, but upon further inspection, she's just a really kind, well-rounded person who just works a little too much. Also, she's really passionate about just maintaining the peace. I gotta respect that girl. I'm not a fan of her playstyle by a long shot, but literally everything else about her is either top tier or just straight up relatable in the sense that she works a lot. I think this is the first character in Genshin that I ever really saw as a waifu. When the director of of the morgue, is one of the happiest and most go-lucky characters in the game. She also stays positive despite having a really rough and tragic backstory. She's been through a lot, and honestly, she's just kind of a Giga Chad. I don't need my real-life anxieties in video game format. Come on, Hoyoverse. Outside of the anxiety shtick, he's a very average Joe and just kind of seems like a sweet kid who Zheng Chu needs to stop picking on. Come on, bro. Every time I think of Chi-Chi, I get really sad because of her whole memory issue. It's okay. Yao Yao, still your bestie. Also, I have C5 Jean and have yet to ever get a Chi-Chi, so I don't understand what these memes are about. When I looked at her, I fell in love. When the Traveler and her had their first interaction, I fell even deeper in love. She's so awkward yet always maintains a calm and composed demeanor. Also, again, another very layered character. Another candidate for best girl. The combat obsessive warmonger, who also just happens to be a nice, sweet older brother. I love characters who have more than one face, and yeah, Child is no exception. She went from my least favorite character in the game to being at least B tier. Honestly, it was all because of the Guoba cutscene with her and Guoba in the mountain in the cave. Yeah, you better thank your little adorable Adepti bear, Mademoiselle Zhongling. I never thought I'd want to give a hug to a character who's this edgy, but honestly, he's really layered and kind of just wholesome in a weird angsty way. Also, I'm not one for shipping characters, but Xiao and Lumine, like, come on, guys. In terms of the upcoming prodigies of Liyue, this guy is by far the most sophisticated and talented amongst the group. He has a lot going for him in general, although please stop teasing the anxiety popsicle boy, my dude. I feel like I'm one of the only ones who absolutely adores her design. I also love the fact that despite everyone insulting her dreams, she basically just stuck her middle finger at everybody. Another Giga Chad character. Yanfei, along with Klee, is one of the funnest characters to play, although her obsession with the law kind of scares me. I feel like she'll take you to court just for littering. I do like her a lot though. She's honestly just a really cool character, and I would be super down to see her perform again. I was really upset when she didn't perform at this year's Lantern Rite, and honestly, she's just a really good character to represent culture. She is overall a very sophisticated mademoiselle. The most layered character in the game by far, and I wouldn't be surprised if no one ever tops him. If you guys remember that whole Agedaha quest from a while back, yeah, that was the first time I ever actually shed tears at Genshin, and honestly, Zhongli's just a really sophisticated and understanding man. My girl over here can literally be a Disney princess. Aside from that, I love her whole journey of trying to broaden her horizons. Also, she is the character I ship the male traveler Aether with the most, and I mean that dance scene with her, come on, man. This is the peak daddy of Genshin. Every time he's handling business within the clan, I always find myself saying, yes, go king. Aside from that, he's another character with two faces, which I really like. The provider of quotes that will make you question your existence. In my opinion, he's at least top 5 in terms of funnest characters to play, and I just kind of love the whole wanderer lifestyle he's got going on. Although yeah, he's kind of a hippie. She is not a nice lady, but she is a provider of Inazuma light novels, so I do gotta give her a little bit of cultured points. And yes, I'll throw in the fact that she is really hot. The only god who, you know, created the problem for her nation to solve. Besides for that fact, I think she should just take more responsibility for her actions. I think she's still a great character overall though, and her discovering the outside world is kind of precious. The most fun character in the game, and I don't think anyone's ever really gonna compete with him in that regard. And honestly, despite being a funny and chill guy, he's surprisingly been through quite a lot of trials and tribulations, and the fact that he's still the same lovable goofball makes me really happy. From a man of war to a man of the pen, he has a lot of variety going on, although I can't be the only one who wishes his design looked a little more like the cardboard cutouts. I gotta give that one to Miko. Overall, he's just kind of a chill guy though. If someone told me to look at Kokomi and guess what her profession was, yeah, I don't think any human being is saying military tactician general. Aside from that, I really like her comf vibe, despite being, you know, a military tactician general. I adore the absolute hell out of her design, but then she opened her mouth and I was kind of just like, eh. But I think now we've reached a nice middle ground, and oddly enough, the thing I like most about her character is how much of a strict mademoiselle she is. Sleepo Beepo. As someone with sleep issues, I vibe with her kind of a whole bunch. But I just wish there was something a little more to her, besides being sleepy and lazy, despite her being really proficient in the ninja arts. But just as a character who likes to sleep, yeah, she works. He's definitely the most multi-talented character in the game for me. He also radiates an insane amount of Chad energy, despite being such a normal guy. Also, he's been through quite a bit on his journey from Mondstadt to Inazuma. Overall, respect, my boy. Best girl, and I doubt that's ever changing anytime soon. She's very eccentric and kind of just crazy to an extent, but her charm levels are off the charts. Also, one of my favorite scenes in this game is just sitting down quietly, watching the fireworks with Yoimiya, just in absolute silence. She feels like the most down-to-earth character in the game to me. She gives me a lot of older sister vibes with her interactions with the Arataki gang. Overall, she's just a pretty awesome character, but I just wish we could take off her mask while using her in combat. As a bottom, yeah, Yelan's whole demeanor and vibe is pretty appealing to me. Her laid-back nature and not taking BS personality is pretty amazing, not to mention the fact that she gives bow users just a really good reputation. The sophisticated gentleman who likes to fist people. He's another really fun character to use, but then again, Animo's full of fun characters. Although for some reason I find his flirtatious nature kinda wholesome, and I don't know why. He has a very sassy nature, which I appreciate. I also like how he basically told my boy Dottore to just go eat lard. Basically, he has cojones of steel. He's just a bit too strict at points, that's all. When I looked at her character, I thought, aw, what a wholesome cinnamon bun. But when I really looked at her character, damn, someone just give my girl a hug. But I am happy that her disease is finally clearing up. Hey kid, you wanna buy some devil's lettuce? Aside from the fact of her being the Genshin equivalent of an arms dealer, she's obsessed with money, and that's kinda it, and for some reason I'm kinda chill with it. She's extremely fun to play, despite the lack of dendro leaving a bit to be desired. However, that aside, the whole dancing motif is done really well. Yet another cultured mademoiselle. Also, I love her in the Grand Bazaar storyline. She was amazing. Stop! You violated the law. I absolutely adore the contrast of him having a job where, you know, there's definitely blood on his hands, and then he also just likes to play card games. The best of two worlds. Her whole shield gimmick is phenomenal, and her personality fits her playstyle to the T. We need more unique characters like her in the future. She has a similar aura to Beidou in the Giga Chad department for me. I don't know why. Funny how a god that looks like she's 5 does her job better than 50% of the other adult-looking gods. She's also a cinnamon bun unless you decide to cross her. Aside from that, even though she's the one protecting, I also get the protect vibes. Also respect for raising my boy Scaramouche right. The result of an abusive education system. Jokes aside, her biggest asset is her relatability by far, and I'm sure she's giving many of us PTSD of the school days. And if you're still in school, I'm sure she's even more relatable. Outside of that, she's just another Sleepo Beepo character. Very solid overall. My personal best boy, him trash-talking enemies will never not get me screaming, "Yes, King!" Also, no surprise, he's also another very layered character who suffers from parental neglect. Again, let us thank Nihida. I wish I had a professor who was this sassy and into the subject she was teaching. Also, another really fun bow user, giving them a good rep again. When the most motherly character in the game looks like she's 5. I also love how she always has those supplies in her basket on standby. You always gotta be prepared, you know, for munchy, hungry little Paimon. King of the Giga Chads, and never giving much of a poop about anything, despite his high moral compass. At the end of the day, my man just wants to live a comfortable life, which is the most relatable thing ever. Thanks for watching, guys. This is kind of a re-upload. It's just there's a lot more characters now, and I did change a lot of the statements, because opinions evolve over time. With that in mind, take care, guys. Let me know your thoughts, and have a good one.